Hello there. Welcome to week 4. This is going to be a big one, not going to lie. This is our first drafting week in the course, and you will find that you're going to need some more time. And I just want to be upfront about that. So you're going to want to think about the schedule for yourself for the week ahead, because by the end of this week, you will produce your first draft for the first unit essay. So I'm going to talk about that and talk about what the content looks like this week. So in my course here, I'm going to go to my course content, and I'm going to see week 4. And we're in the overview right now. So the goals, they're really specific this week. You're going to publish your story on our discussion board, and I'll show you that in more detail in a moment. And then this is more of the really heavy thinking. You're going to be synthesizing all of the thinking, reading, and responding, the discussion, your letter as a writer and a reader, and kind of trying to pull it all together into some sort of a cohesive response. And then you're going to write a first draft. And I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be a mess. Chances are your thinking's going to be all over the place. You might have to write a lot in order to kind of get to what your thinking really is, to some sort of a claim. But I'm going to tell you to trust the process and know that you will get there. This first draft it's not graded as in the traditional sense. You're going to get lots of feedback, and again, it's part of a process. So you just have to allow yourself to submit to it. Okay, so your writing workout this week is directly related to the essay assignment. I'll tell you that up front. And these are the 4 guiding questions. You'll see these exact questions when you open the essay assignment further below in this course content. So you want to think about, why do we share stories? It's this natural thing that people do. And why do we do it? So you want to maybe write a little bit about that. You want to think about, how can a story change, challenge, or confirm our view? And you might find it helpful to think about this whole lens we've been using about mirrors, windows, and doors. And on that note, I want to say that one of the misconceptions I feel that has arisen in the last couple of weeks is about the whole idea of lenses. So you want to think about a lens before you start engaging with a text. That's the whole idea. It's like these glasses, right? So when I take them off, I kind of see everything, but it's sort of fuzzy. And I put them on before I want to see something. It clarifies my vision. It makes me focus better. So it's one thing to sort of notice after the fact that you've related to something, or that you've seen a new perspective, or even that the text was kind of a door for you. It's something else entirely when you decide, I'm going into this with this in mind. I'm going into this text and I'm looking for places when I see a reflection of my experience, or when I see into someone else's experience, or when something in that text excludes me. So we're going to continue kind of working with this idea and this lens, and even broadening it as we go through, moving into Unit 2. So consider that. Consider that this idea of positioning and putting the lens on before you engage with the text. All right? The third question in the writing workout: what makes a story compelling? What holds us? What grabs us? What keeps us reading? And you've got some answers to this based on your responses to the Your Story, Our Story website. And then you want to think about to what extent your story is part of a larger story, and what does that really mean? Is there some collective narrative about humanity? Is there some collective narrative in your community, as part of your cultural heritage, as part of being American? Whatever that larger story is, how does your story fit in to it? So these are things, you could write, potentially a ton about each one. Some of these questions might inspire more of a response than others. It's all good, but I will suggest that for this week's writing workout, you do respond to these questions in some way, because it will directly help you when you start drafting for the essay. I did include the writing rubric for this course. I had mentioned that I would last week, so you can click on that and you will see that there are several different categories. I don't want to spend time reading through them right now. I'd like you to glance through them, and if you have questions, certainly you can pose them in the general discussion board, or we can talk more about it in our class time during the week. But I want you to always see the rubric in front of you. Going back to the content, and as we scroll down, all right, so this is when we start getting into where you gotta roll up the sleeves and dive in. So your discussion post this week is a little different in that you're going to post your own submission as if you were submitting to the Your Story, Our Story website. But you're going to do it on our discussion board. And I will say that I have created a space on the website, and I will offer that as an option, but I wanted us to get some feedback first. So we'll talk about that part later after we have this drafting week. So I want to explain that this story submission is not your essay. They are two different things. This story submission that's going on your discussion post is short. We're talking about 300 words. So that is nowhere near like the size of an actual full-out essay, but it's part of what we're doing in the, in this unit to kind of have a hands-on experience. All right. And I have the submission guidelines here, but I think the easiest thing to do is to show you the post itself. So I did one, and I mentioned before that I try to do every assignment that I give so that I can help you and be kind of one step ahead and give the guidance and talk about my process. So I'm going to click to the discussion board, scroll down to week 4. This is exactly what is in the content area. I just copy and pasted it here. The only thing I added is when you're ready to post, well, it says go to the discussion board. You're on the discussion board. You're going to use the insert image box, and I'm going to show you that in a second. This is due Monday, September 14th at midnight. That's kind of the routine in the course. Hopefully you're catching on to that by this point. And then you're going to respond to 2 other students' posts by Wednesday midnight. Okay, so let's go into, and you'll see that I have my Gannett Jr. post. And I would name your thread something, title it. Imagine that your story has a title. So here is my post. So you can see that I included a picture, and here's the story. This is right around 1,500 characters, which is consistent with the website requirements. Like, I did mine on the website as well, and it turns red as soon as you hit that. So it forces you to be judicious when you're and concise. And so I was having to kind of do some revision as I was doing, kind of writing and posting the story, which was good. It makes you think about what's the important part of this. So I'm not going to read it to you, but you're welcome to read it, obviously. And I decided to kind of take a little bit of a risk with it. It's not the first thing that I was going to write about. Something else came to mind, and I decided to go with something that was a little more personal. And it's less, honestly, about my background and like the whole cultural part, and more about the significance of this item. So, and that's okay. I feel like there should be sort of some permission to honor where it takes you, where this process takes you. So I do want to show you quickly a little bit of the tech part, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up. Okay, so you're going to hit Create Thread when you're ready. Put your title here. When you want to insert your picture, you're going to hit that button. And I'm just going to go find that picture again. And then you can insert, but you don't want it to, it's going to tell us to make a title. Okay, so then obviously you don't want this to take over your whole entire thing. So if you click on it, you'll see there's a little blinking line, and you can click on the image itself, and then you can resize it and make it a more reasonable size so it doesn't take over. All right, and then you can type you can type right in here, but again, I would recommend doing it on a separate document so that you have it in your files. Okay, so I just canceled it, so I'm not reposting. So that's your discussion. So it's a little more involved than your typical. And then we get to the actual essay draft, which is all the way down here. So I'm giving you an overview here, which again, I'm not going to read through because you're certainly capable of doing that. And the essay assignment is here. You're going to want to click on that and read through it earlier in the week. Like, definitely don't wait until Friday to do this. And I will talk more about this on Tuesday. We'll work more on Thursday. The class is going to meet both nights this week at 5 in our collaborative ultra space. And I'm going to do a central claim writing workshop because that's always challenging for students, especially the first time around. I'm going to do that at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night. Everyone is welcome. Composition only students can join workshop that night if you'd like to. And then Thursday at 6, I'll offer some conferencing time. By that time, I think you'll know if you feel like you need a little more one-on-one time. If that doesn't work, we'll figure something else out. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to process. I hope that you take your time, allow yourself some dissonance in your brain. That's all. It's good. It means your brain's working. And post questions in the discussion board and help each other out. All right? And I'll be checking in. I'll see you all Tuesday night at 5.